NFL Week 13. Let's just go back and start on Thanksgiving Day. We get Bears-Lions. The Lions are a juggernaut, obviously, but the story of this one is the Bears just absolute debacle at the end of the game. Just completely blow it. In the last minute, they get in the field goal position. Then they get in illegal hands to the face, a QB sack, and then they were on one play over the final 30 seconds with a timeout in their pocket. Just absolutely a debacle of all sorts and kinds. And the game cost Matt Eberflus his job. And if you look back, the Bears have lost 6 in a row. Here's how they've lost. They give up the game-winning Hail Mary to Washington to lose that one. They have the game-winning field goal attempt blocked by the Packers. Then they scored 9 points against the Cardinals, 3 points against the Patriots. Had a late comeback versus the Vikings where they ended up scoring first in overtime and then still lose, and then let the clock run out against Detroit with a timeout available. Just a debacle. You got a rookie quarterback in there, and the coaching staff was just not managing the game right for him at the very end of that game. Just unbelievable. It killed the over, too, by the way. Had that going for me. But, great fight by them to get back in the game. They score, 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to get themselves back in the game. And, missed a 2-point conversion when they could have just been down 9. What would could have got out to a tie. Yeah. Right, 15, then 8 more have been 23. Yep, but they only get 13. So, yeah, but still, it's just like they worked themselves back into it, and then just terrible. Caleb Williams had a pretty nice game, 20 of 39. You'd like to see the completion percentage up a little bit. 256, 3 TDs. Like, you're not complaining about that. They didn't really get any run game going is the problem. DeAndre Swift, 11 carries, 39 yards. Oofta. Granted, they were throwing a lot late. But just a brutal way for the Bears to lose yet another game. They've now fallen to 4-8, losers of 6 in a row after being 4-2, and in the hunt early in the NFC North, and now they are out of it completely, out of the playoffs. And again, just a debacle of all sorts to end that game. Just not good. Not good at all. Continuing on Thanksgiving, we have the Cowboys beat the Giants. This game was on. I wasn't paying a ton of attention. Left, my brother's house at Thanksgiving about the time this game started. Got home, was getting around. Just had it on. Wasn't paying attention. I wasn't really feeling Cooper Rush and the Cowboys facing off against the Giants. That wasn't really my bag. Then my Packers. My Packers played Thanksgiving night. It did make me wonder, should the Packers just take over the Thanksgiving night game? I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know that I'd like it to happen, but, for ratings-wise, just establish something. The Lions play early, the Cowboys play in the later afternoon, and then the Packers play late. That could be something. But, yeah, the Packers get the win. They get out early. I wrote down in my notes, chef's kiss, first half. That said, there was a couple early penalties, but they overcame them and ended up scoring on an early drive with a penalty. But yeah, a couple of touchdowns there in the first quarter. They gave up a field goal in the second. Get another touchdown in the second quarter. Get a field goal to end the half, and it's 24-3 heading into the locker room. I would have liked to have seen a little more aggressiveness out of them in the second half. It just felt like, and I wrote down in my note, I want to make sure I find the right one here. Not putting this game completely away is the type of shit that loses playoff games. And I put in quotations. I said that right after the underthrown ball to Watson that should have been a TD. And then probably should have been PI. But, you can't. That's the San Francisco playoff game last year. A game you can win, And if you get yourself into those situations, you got to close, man. You got to close. There's just too many teams that are gonna come back and get you. The Tua and Dolphins curse of under 40-degree weather continues. They remain struggling with that. So they got to figure that out. Obviously, to win in the playoffs, you got to win some cold games. Here, especially with the Bills floating around and they're staying outside. Another nice day from Jordan Love. 21 to 28, 274, 2 TDs, no interceptions. A slower day from Josh Jacobs for once. Only 19 carries for 19 carries, but only for 43 yards. They got some nice production out of Chris Brooks on a couple carries, Emmanuel Wilson. So those two, Chris Brooks and Emmanuel Wilson, combined for 5 carries for 48 yards. So you'll take that. And then Jaden Reed kind of tossed one in. That was more of that jet sweep thing, I think. But it was a behind the back one, if I remember right. A little pressure from the boys. 5 sacks, so that's good. That's good. We like that. I didn't like the prevent in the second half after the field goal to go up 30-11. They kind of go prevent, and the Dolphins score a later touchdown. They end up preventing the 2-point conversion, but I could have done without the prevent in my mind. But a win's a win again. 9-3. We got the big one this Thursday. Back-to-back Thursdays. We're in a stretch of Packers are playing primetime football against some primetime teams. So Thursday night against the Lions in Detroit. After that, Sunday night football against the Seahawks. Then after that, it's Monday night football against the Saints. Saints, who knows? We'll talk a little bit about them here going forward, but. It was, when you can keep stacking wins, the Packers are 9-3. So at 9-3, you'd think a couple more wins kind of locks it up. Gets you to 2 more wins gets you to 11-6. Currently, all the teams in the NFC South, or the NFC South, the Bucs in the NFC South, and then all the NFC West teams. Bucs, Cardinals, Rams, 6-6. You'd have to all 3 of them go 5-0 over the last games. I'm sure the Rams and Cardinals actually play each other coming up. If you can get to 11-6, if you can get 3 wins, get to 12-5 over the final 5. That for sure locks it up. You get a win against the Lions, and then the division race is back on. So we'll see. Around the rest of the NFL, the Chiefs again sneak one out on Friday against the Raiders. Just live by the sword, die by the sword. Just absolutely unreal. The Texans get by the Jaguars. The Texans move to 8-5 there. Mac Jones has to come to that game because Trevor Lawrence during a slide was just absolutely just lit up. Texan player ends up getting tossed. And we got ourselves a little Donnybrook there. Colts, Anthony Richardson leads them down the field at the end of the game, gets a late win. Just bangs up my parlay. That and one other game. I forgot to mention that the Raiders were in position to win that game or getting close to it. And with 15 seconds left, the center just fired off the snap. And it was the quarterback totally not ready. Aiden O'Connell totally not ready. And the center just fired the snap off. Some flags on the play turned out to be a legal motion, not a false start. The false start would have allowed the Raiders to keep the ball. Would have been tough from there. But, yeah, they kind of blew a little bit of a chance to win that game. But, again, it's just like the Chiefs just keep winning these games in the most ridiculous ways. Oh, Falcons, Chargers. It's been, I think, 3 weeks now that Kirk Cousins hasn't thrown a touchdown pass. He threw 4 interceptions today. The Chargers keep stacking wins on. The Falcons, I think have they lost 2 in a row or 3 in a row now? This is 3 or 2. Might be 3. 3 in a row. After getting the 6-3, the Bucs were 4-6. They were looking like they were out ahead of this division, and then now all of a sudden it feels like the Bucs have the momentum. The Bucs, sneaking by the Panthers, not like they were impressive this weekend by any stretch of the imagination, but here we are. That's what you get in the NFL. You just got to find ways to win. The Seahawks found a way to win. Just a wildly sloppy game. It felt like we had blocked kicks, we had interceptions being returned the length of the field. And now the Aaron Rodgers-led Jets fall to 3-9. They've lost 3 in a row again after they won that game that got them to 3-6. And everyone in the world started jumping back on the bandwagon. They said, "Hey, maybe I'll be the guy because I poo-pooed it." But I did say, "Don't." There's still issues, and the issues have not resolved themselves. The offense isn't good. The defense is okay. But yeah, that's about it. That's about it. The Commanders out to an absolute hammer of a start in this game. Scored 21 in the first quarter. Add another touchdown right at the start of the second quarter. A couple for Jaden Daniels to Terry McLaurin for a couple touchdowns. Jaden Daniels ran one in himself. Brian Robinson Jr. It got a little weird for a second. I had taken the Commanders here this weekend, and they closed it up at one point. It was 28-13, but a Zach Ertz touchdown in the fourth quarter, and then another late touchdown spread that one back out. But yeah, it got a little worrisome for a second. Nice day for Jaden Daniels, 25 of 30, 206, 3 TDs. Did have one interception in there, but pretty solid. The Bengals and the Steelers had themselves a game. Russell the Muscle was absolutely balling. Joe Burrow played another good game too. Joe Burrow, 28 of 38, 309, 3 TDs, 1 interception. But outdone by Russell the Muscle, 29 of 38 for 414 and 3 TDs. He also had 1 interception. We had total yards for the Steelers, 520 total yards, 410 through the air, and then another $110 on the ground. 375 for the Bengals. I saw this good little thing on an article from The Score. Where are we at here? I can find it. The possibility of the Bengals running the table and seeking the playoffs, however unlikely, was juicy. I held out hope as long as I could for no other potential entertainment. But it's officially time to move on. Sunday's loss to the Steelers dropped Cincinnati to an unfathomable 4-8 mark on the year, making it all but impossible to chase down a wild card. More than the reality of the standings, though, this week's defeat was another reminder that there's only so much an offense can do, no matter how elite. Cincinnati is now 0-7 against teams 500 or better, despite scoring a league-leading 30.3 points per game in such matchups. Wowza. He goes on to say, we'd be looking at a completely different team if the defense could occasionally get the stop. That simply has not happened this year, he says, though. But yeah, third downs, 4-9 for the Steelers. Nothing crazy. They just didn't get the third down that much. A little more time of possession. A lot of penalties in this game, too, but just a fun-ass game. Najee Harris had a nice game as well, 75 yards. They really spread it around. Russell really spread it around. 3 interceptions for Pickens, 6 for Freiermuth, 4 for Warren, 6 for Harris, 1 for Van Jefferson, 3 for Cordell Patterson, 2 for Calvin Austin, 2 for Michael Pruitt, then Skronak and Darnell Washington and Van Jefferson all get 1 themselves. So that was a fun game. The Steelers are 9-3, ladies and gentlemen. 9-3. Russell the Muscle is back. The Vikings survive again as well. They get a touchdown with about a minute left. Aaron Jones from Sam Darnold. I think Aaron Jones had a costly fumble earlier in that game as well. Stop me if you've heard that before. But the Cardinals could have used that one. The Packers could have used that one for the division as well if the Cardinals could have pulled that one off. Rams Saints, I was watching a little bit of that. The thing I noted was that MVS, oh my gosh, why am I blanking? MVS, why can't I? Good Lord, I'll find it here. Just completely lost it here. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, thank you. It seems like every time I look, he's scoring a touchdown this year. He had 2 catches for 36 yards and 1 touchdown. But it seems like he's just always scoring touchdowns. The Bucs beat the Panthers in overtime. Oh, okay. Sure. Good win. But hey, you do what you got to do. Sorry, I was just flabbergasted by that terrible performance from the Bucs against the Panthers. Bryce Young is playing better football. I'm going to go back to that one for a second. Look at the stats here again. Yeah, 20, a lot of passes, 26 to 46 for 298 and a touchdown. No interceptions though. He's playing a little bit better ball. Adam Thielen, 8 receptions, 99 yards, 1 TD. Turn the clocks back a bit, Adam Thielen. Game of the week was Eagles, Ravens. Ravens get out early, 9-0. Philly answers back. Ravens answer back. Touchdown, a couple touchdowns in the second quarter. Justin Tucker field goal, one that he actually made, which was not common for him. He is on the struggle bus, man. But then a couple of touchdown and a field goal in the fourth quarter, spread it out, and just a bullshit touchdown at the end for the Ravens. They then had to try the onside kick with just 3 seconds left that was recovered by the Eagles. But the Eagles are, I think, the class of the NFC outside of the Lions. And I think the Eagles can give the Lions a run. The one thing that was worrisome, the Eagles had 5 fumbles in this game. 5 fumbles. They didn't lose a single one of them. Not a single one. That's incredibly lucky. Justin Tucker, I think, missed 2 field goals and an extra point. Ooh, that's tough, man. They're getting to a point where, and I did from the same article on the score. Yeah, pair of field goals in the loss on Sunday. He has now missed 8 field goals on the season. Already the worst of his career. His 70% conversion rate is the lowest of any kicker with more than 15 attempts. Wow. He's 35. I mean, he's older, but not super old for a kicker. Does he have the yips? Like, what's going on? Like, it's hard to imagine the Ravens would make a move at kicker away from Justin Tucker in the season, but you got to be wondering what they're thinking long term. There's still, again, 5 games left. That's a lot of football, but something needs to go a different direction for Justin Tucker. That is not good. That is not good. In a beautiful, beautiful snowy Sunday night in Buffalo, with just all the more reason that football deserves to be played outside. I'm going to do a little thing here in a second, but the Bills just get out and go. The 49ers are obliterated with injuries. Brock Purdy, again, snowy game, only threw for 94 yards. Not like Josh Allen threw for a bunch more, 13 of 17 for 148. I mean, this game was dominated on the ground. 220 for the Bills and 153 for the 49ers. 20 first downs for the Bills, 6 of 12 on third down, 1-1 on fourth down. They had the time of possession. They had a couple of penalties but they didn't turn it over at all. The 49ers fumbled it 3 times in the game. But the Bills, 10-2 now. They've got a win over the Chiefs. It feels like Josh Allen is playing at an MVP level. This is a team that I think is maybe the class of the NFL. They've clinched a spot in the playoffs already. It's a team that's pretty darn good, and we'll show the playoff picture. Here we go. You see the Chiefs and Bills there. I mean, if you're looking at Chiefs and Bills, they're by far the best 2 teams in the AFC East. Or the AFC, not the AFC East, the AFC. The Steelers are there. I don't know that the Steelers are as complete as the Chiefs and Bills. And I think the Bills are better. I think the head-to-head shows that, but I just think the way they play, the way they're winning games is telling us that. Steelers, Texans, Steelers, I think, are better than the Texans and Chargers. I think that this is lining up. I think the Ravens are better than the Texans and the Chargers, too. They're just chasing the Steelers in the AFC North with a nice lead going for them right now. I think the Texans and Chargers are decent teams, but not great teams. The Broncos are just going to sneak in. And then, the Colts are hanging. The Colts are hanging there. That win kept them alive. The Dolphins have fallen out, and then the Bengals are out of it. So I think it's a 4-team race in the AFC currently with the Bills, and I'll still give the Chiefs a nod over the Steelers, but the Ravens could go beat the Chiefs for sure. I'm not saying the Steelers couldn't. I would still probably favor the Chiefs against the Steelers in the playoffs, especially if it's in Kansas City. I'd still like the Chiefs if it's in Kansas City against the Ravens, but it wouldn't shock me as much. Over in the NFC, I think you're seeing something similar here. The Lions and the Eagles are far and away better than I think these three teams for sure. I think the Packers, and this could be me being a homer, I think the Packers are better than the Seahawks. We're going to find that out. It's here soon. The Falcons. And it does feel like they're a better trending team than the Vikings if they can keep the mistakes in order. The Commanders, I think, are better than the Falcons and the Seahawks as well. They've kind of righted the ship. And there's an interesting race going on down here. Obviously, the NFC South, tied there, so that the Bucs are still in it. NFC West, obviously just a game back for the Cardinals and the Rams. 49ers have so many injuries. Cowboys are out of it. They stink. Saints are out of it. So, we got fun stuff coming down the stretch. I think the Packers, if things could fall right for them, could make a run. Could they go into Detroit or Philly and win a playoff game? Who knows? We're going to find out a little bit more about what they can do in Detroit this coming week. What we got? So we got Packers Lions to kick us off. Steelers Browns. I mean, keep an eye on that. The Browns coming off a little short week. They play the Broncos tonight. They could do something to the Steelers. The Steelers are known to lose games that they're favorites in, like 10 double-digit favorites. Mike Tomlin doesn't only not cover those games, he just loses them straight up. Raiders, Bucks, obviously Bucks, Vikings, or Falcons, Vikings with Raiders, Bucks. That sets up well for the Bucks there. 49ers, Bears, Seahawks, Cardinals, obviously a huge one for that division. Bills, Rams, Chargers, Chiefs Sunday night. That's going to be an interesting game. And a game that I think was going to get flexed out of Monday Night Football, Bengals, Cowboys, but they had all the Simpsons stuff already built for it. So here's what I want to talk about football being outside. If you look right now of the teams that play indoors versus outdoors, so Raiders, outdoor. Let me just count this. How many have a roof? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 right now have a fixed roof or a retractable roof. But Cincinnati's talking about putting a roof, building a stadium with a roof on. Nashville is building a stadium with a roof on. Who else is on here that's talking? Cleveland, I think, is talking about building a stadium with a roof on. The Bills will not be. So, we're going to add maybe 2 or 3 more with a roof. It's going to get to about 50-50 in the league, and I think football is set to be played outside. So, all right, that's all I got in the NFL. Let's keep moving. All right, college football. The college football year that's been pretty crazy stays pretty crazy. Texas gets it done. Oregon gets it done. BYU gets it done this weekend. Alabama keeps its playoffs hopes alive with a win over Auburn. Notre Dame takes down USC. Arizona State keeps winning. SMU wins. But now here, Tennessee wins. But Penn State wins. They got off to a rough start. Fumble on the second play. Maryland scores a touchdown on the next play. Then from there, it's 44 straight points for Penn State. The Maryland coach was not thrilled with Penn State scoring a late touchdown. 4 seconds left. Interesting decision. I mean, it's very on brand for James Franklin. He likes to kind of run it up at the end. And he had some words in his post-game press conference for the Maryland coach who was upset with him. He said, hey, those are my 3s and 4s, and it matters how you win these games, and it matters the style points, the margin of victory. He goes, that all matters, and my 3s and 4s are in there against your 1s. You got to stop them. I mean, I guess. I don't know that last touchdown was all that necessary after they completely dominated that game. But, hey, I kind of get what he's saying. If you're wanting to win, you want to win. And if you want to win and make the playoffs, you got to win big and make the playoffs. So they get it done. And then they're in the Big Ten title game because Michigan upsets Ohio State. Oh, mama. There were 3 red zone interceptions in this game, and late in the game, the Michigan running back, number 20, was dead to. I don't know his name. Number 20. Just be happy I got a number. Was dead to rights in the backfield with about 3:30 left in the third, and broke off a 25-yard run, and then they ended up going in and scoring the game-winning field goal. And Michigan tries to plant the flag in the middle of the field, and we get a brawl. It was something. It's funny, the parallels to 2016, where Penn State needed an underdog Michigan team to come in and beat Ohio State on the last game, and they did that. Ryan Day, I don't know how much of a hot seat he's actually on. Like, it's hard to imagine they would fire him, but especially because he's still going to make the playoffs by all accounts. But he's now 1-4 against Michigan, 47-1 versus every other team in the Big Ten. They did miss 2 field goals, and one of them was a shorty. It's at least warm. I don't know that it's hot, but it's warm for him. He's gonna hear about it. At Ohio State, you got to beat Michigan. Now, that said, I think they're in the playoffs again, and Michigan's not. Michigan's season is over. They're going to play in some bullshit bowl game. But man, 1-4 against that team up north is not ideal for you. 22, the last 22 games in the big game, have been won by the team with more rushing yards, and that continues. And then just more on the end of the game shit. Like, Ohio State, you're pussies. You had 60 minutes to handle business, and you didn't. And Michigan was the only team on the field. You guys were leaving, and they were going to plant their flag. And guess what? You want to not let them plant the flag? Just beat them. That's all there is to it. If you win, they ain't planting shit in your field. So you want to turn into tough guys after the game? You're pussies. You got beat. Walk the fuck off the field and deal with it. There's a simple way just to stop them from planting the flag. You win the game. You had 60 minutes to win the game and be tough guys on the field, but you couldn't get it done. And so that's what you got to live with. There's consequences in life when you don't perform. And that consequence was Michigan was going to plant that flag dead center of your field in the horseshoe. So suck it up and deal with it. And guess what? If you beat them next year, you can plant your flag right in the big ol' M in the middle of the big house. So there. All right. So this next week we got some conference title games. Well, Boomer had some thoughts apparently. We got some conference title games coming up. Friday night we got UNLV and Boise State. The winner of that is gonna get in as the automatic bid out of the Mountain West. Tulane plays Army. Tulane not out of it. I think I shouldn't say that the Mountain West gets in. If Tulane wins and UNLV wins, I think that gives Tulane a shot to get in, if I'm not mistaken. Where's Tulane ranked? Or wait, did Tulane lose this week? Let me double check. Oh, Tulane lost. Nope, never mind. Discard that. So Boise State, UNLV's all but guaranteed the winner of that gets in. Then Saturday, we start out Iowa State, Arizona State. The winner of that one is going to get in. Georgia, Texas. It's going to be interesting how they handle this. If Georgia wins, I think they're both in. If Texas wins, what weight do they put on Texas winning at a neutral field versus Georgia having beat them in Texas? That'll be interesting. It seems as though the vibes given are that you're not going to be so much penalized for making it to a conference title game and then losing. We'll see. SMU and Clemson, SMU is now the 8th ranked team. Clemson, after losing, is back to 18th. Obviously, Clemson would still get in if they win the automatic bid. But what is a loss for SMU do? They're 11-1. Their schedule has not been good. Can a 2-loss SMU team out of the ACC get in? You're also dealing with the fact that Miami has fallen now to 14th in the AP poll. Again, that's the AP poll. It's not the college football poll. That'll come out Tuesday night, after you've listened to this pod. But what does that do? Can Miami sneak back in? And then you got Penn State, Oregon. Penn State's up to 3. Oregon's 1. So you got to imagine both of those teams are fine. This is something I found on USA Today, which was where'd it go? It went away on me. Dicks. Okay. All right. So this is a prediction. So it predicts that Oregon wins, Texas wins, SMU wins, Boise State wins. So they're going to get the first 4 seeds. They're going to get the byes. It has Penn State then go to the 5 seed, Notre Dame at the 6, Georgia at the 7, Tennessee at the 8, Ohio State at the 9, Indiana hangs at the 10, Alabama sneaks in at 11, Arizona State gets the last one with their win in their title game at 10-2. So that gives Penn State, Arizona State. It gives Notre Dame, Alabama, Georgia, Indiana. Not a good break for Indiana if they get Georgia. You have to imagine Texas falls there if Georgia beats them. That's assuming that Georgia gets in at a 3-loss team there, and then Ohio State at Tennessee. So, if that's how it shakes out for Penn State, not bad. Not bad that they get a game against Arizona State, who's been playing well, but I would say are not of the caliber of the top 5-6 teams in the country. And then they get to play Boise State in the next round. That looks good for a trip to the national semifinals. So it's fun. College football has been fun. We'll see what the committee comes out with on Tuesday night, and we'll see if there's any indications on what conference title game losses will mean to these teams that are, we view as in. It's hard to predict this. It's the first year, so we don't really know what's going on. And then Miami just gets tossed out of it at this point is how it's shaking out based on the AP poll. Again, we will know a lot more. And Miami was up 21-0, by the way. 21-0. There was one other thing. Chris Fascilla, I don't know how you say his name, had an interesting tweet just comparing some people here. Where'd it go? I thought I had it. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh, Raggy. I think I bookmarked it at least. I didn't. Why would I? I think Ryan Rosillo retweeted it. Bear with me. Stay with me, folks. Chris Felicia. All right. We knew scheduling would be key this year with all the expanded conferences, but here are a few extreme instances which played out and likely played a role in teams' win-loss records. Doesn't mean these teams aren't good, but they definitely got the good end of the draw. 7 Big 12 teams finished with an overall losing record. Iowa State faced 5 of them. Excluding Indiana, 5 Big 10 teams won 8 games. Indiana faced only 1 and lost at Ohio State 38-15, gaining only 151 total yards in the game. 4 ACC teams went 2-6 or worse in conference play. SMU played 3 of them. 8 went 3-5 or worse in conference play. SMU played 5 of them of its 8 conference games. Excluding Texas, SEC teams won 9 games. 6 SEC teams won 9 games. Texas faced only 1, Georgia, and lost by 15 at home. It's kind of what we're going to be looking at with these monster conferences, 18 teams in the Big 10, whatever there are in the Big 12, 16 and 16 in the SEC. So we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. It's been fun. I can't wait for more. Don't let the Flyers get hot, boys. Don't let them get hot. The Flyers are in a playoff position as of today. They have snuck up into a tie for the final wild card spot with the New York Rangers in the division. The Rangers and the Flyers are about 6 points back of the Carolina Hurricanes. So a little work yet to do there, but they've snuck themselves into a wild card position again. If you look back as of late, it's been very, very good for the Flyers. 8 8-2-2 in the last 12 games with 3 straight wins. And the gentleman at Philly Sports Sufferer is proclaiming Kozlov and Mishkov are elite. And he wants them to play the damn song. But yeah, Big Meech, overtime winner early in overtime on Saturday as the Flyers take down the Blues. On Friday, TK gets us a couple of goals as they take down the Rangers. And then again, another overtime win over the Predators on Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. I mean, just it's going, you know. No points from Big Meech in that one on Wednesday night, unfortunately, but we got a goal from Couturier, a goal from Frost, a goal from Lawton. So it's happening. It's happening. And they lost in a shootout on Monday to the Golden Knights, who are a good team, right? They're good, right? Yeah, leading the Pacific Division. So got to keep this momentum rolling for the Flyers. Got to keep it rolling. Get Big Meech involved. The Michkov, Matvey, 2 points. 2 points. What, Kolslov only allowed 2 goals. I mean, that was the thing. This young buck, 22 years old. I mean, Belarusian ice hockey goaltender Alexei Kolslov. 22, and then you got Big Meech over here. He's what? 19. Yeah, he's not even 20 yet. 19 for a few more days for the Big Meech. And that's what we're talking about. That's a foundation. That's a foundation for the boys. All right, what do they got coming up here this week? 3-banger. Ooh, they got the Panthers, the Bruins on Saturday at the Bruins, and then the Utah Hockey Club comes to town on Sunday. Bruins, not what they have been. Very similar to the Flyers, 12-11-3. Panthers, good, 15-9-1. And we say the Utah. We got some games to win this week again. We got some games to win, ladies and gents. We got to get on it. We got to stay hot. Keep those points rolling. Can we get 4 or 5 points here? How about 5? Why not 6? Why not 6? B-ball. Let's fling over some B-ball real quick. The Heels, 1-3 out in Maui. 1-3. Not ideal for the Heels. Take down Dayton, lose to Auburn, and then lose a close one to Michigan State. They had to come back late against Dayton. I mean, are they getting any production out of the guys? I mean, R.J. Davis had 30, Trimble had 27, Cadeau had 10. Nobody else broke double digits. That's going to be the problem for this team. In the Auburn game, 17 from Trimble, 12 from Davis, 10 from Cadeau, 10 from Withers, 10 from Van Allen Lubin. What do we get in Michigan State? Scored 91 points as a team. Lost in overtime. Came back to send that into overtime, though. I didn't watch any of these games. They were on so damn late. Drake Powell, 18 points. Ian Jackson, 14. 16 from Davis, 9 from Jalen Washington, 0 points in 13 minutes. Not as good. Hey, it's December now, but November basketball, I'm not going to get too worked up about. Falling to number 20 in the rankings will take on the number 10th ranked Alabama on Wednesday night. First ACC game is Saturday, then off for a full week before they play LaSalle, then Florida a couple days after that, and then the following Saturday, UCLA. Then Campbell right after Christmas, and then it's all ACC. It's all ACC, and I'm looking like, oh, no, it's not. And there's SMU, Notre Dame, California, Stanford. Yes, it is. I assume they kept the Duke twice a year in here. Is Duke the only team they'll play twice a year now? Yeah, Virginia Tech, Miami, Virginia, NC State, Syracuse, Clemson, Pitt. They play Pitt twice within about 10 days of each other. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, everybody else is. So they play 2 teams in the ACC twice. Interesting. With the first ACC game on December 7th. I had to take a hot second. I was like, wait, what conference is UCLA in now? Okay, let's keep this thing rolling. What do you say? Time for some passing thoughts. I bet you didn't think I'd start out my passing thoughts on December 2nd with a little election discussion, but here we are. I saw this on November 26th. I took a screenshot of this tweet. This dude, Dave Wasserman, who's kind of an election account on there, talks a lot about redistricting and accounts and stuff, tweeted, more bad news for California 13 rep John Duarte, who is the Republican. Near final Stanislaus County ballots extend Adam Gray's, the Democrats' lead to 182 votes. The chances of a 220-215 House breakdown, Dems plus 2 versus 22 results, just shot up a lot tonight. November 26th was exactly 3 weeks after the election took place. 3 weeks. And I say that because then I also saw this picture here of Elon Musk's rocket landing and being recaptured by a stand. And it says, humans can do this, but California can't figure out how to count all the votes in 3 weeks. I don't understand. How does it take so long to count votes? I mean, 3 weeks? What are we doing, people? What are we doing? Okay. I'm done with that shenanigans. I watched The Replacements. I don't know, at some point last week. Did I watch it over lunch or did I just watch it? I think I watched it over a couple days at lunch. I think, about 2-3 days I can watch a movie depending on its length of lunch. About half hour, 40 minutes at a clip. The Replacements rules. I love The Replacements. It was on the Rewatchables the other day. The Bill Simmons podcast, The Rewatchables, and I was like, I gotta watch it. That movie is so awesome. I haven't actually just sat down and watched that movie start to finish. I'll see it on TV. It's on TNT or TBS all the time, and I'll just watch it periodically through it. I love that movie. Footsteps Falco, incredible soundtrack. Just starts off hot with Ziploc, and it's great. I love that movie so much. It's so much fun. Gene Hackman just giving it his all in one of his last movie performances. Just a fantastic movie. I can't recommend The Replacements enough. I know it shouldn't need any recommendation 20 years later here now, or 23 years later probably. I think that was 2000, 2001. Just absolutely perfect. Chef's kiss. The Replacements is awesome. Son of a bitch. And he blasts out the window. Oh, fucking love that movie. I should have talked about this in college football, but I forgot. And since we're talking about a football movie, so I saw someone tweet that, or say it somewhere, I think it was a tweet, that the college football playoff isn't solving anything because we are still arguing about all these things. I was like, you're an idiot. Whatever person thinks that is an absolute idiot. I should have screenshotted it. I just took a note of it, but I should have screenshotted it. Because I probably shouldn't have, because that person is too dumb to insult. Of course, we're still arguing about things. We're going to argue about things forever, but we're not. Now we're arguing instead of, because you got the automatic qualifier. So there's going to be a couple in a year that wouldn't have been in without the automatic qualifier. But instead of arguing about 5 and 6 or maybe 7, we're arguing about 11, 10, 11. 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're at about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We've extended it. That's all you needed to do. You just had to extend it out because the 5th best team could be a team that's good enough to win the national title. Ohio State is a perfect example. Texas or Georgia are the perfect example. We're maybe arguing about them, but they're still going to get in. We're arguing about seeding. Alabama's on the outside looking in. But hey, if they get left out and they lost 3 games, that's fine. We can argue about whether maybe they catch it in if certain things break a separate way or, things like that. But now we're not just leaving out. And this has been an absolutely crazy year. I mean, there's going to be a year in the near future where we're going to be like, oh, everybody who needs to be in is in. And the teams on the outside looking in it's not that big a deal if they get left out. The 4 or 5 best teams. That's the thing. There can be 5, 6 really good teams that I think really have made their case to get in the 14 playoff area. And now they're all in. And it's exponentially better than the 2-team BCS bullshit. So whoever that is, you're an idiot. Just an absolute idiot. You guys ever had a fart smell so bad that it even disgusts you? Doesn't happen often. Usually like Fat Bastard from Austin Powers, like wafting. Oh, everybody loves their own scent. Every once in a while, you rip one. You're like, good God, I gotta vacate the area. I gotta get out of here before this infects me and takes me down. Had one of those happen. Probably post Thanksgiving. I forget exactly, but man, you just gotta walk away. You should be like, I gotta get out of here. I can't even do this. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Bryson has been putting out some great content again. He's launching balls over his house, trying to make a one, hitting just great ball after great ball. Finally, on day 16, he holds one out. The only thing I found interesting was that the day most of these days he's been doing it in like shorts and like mesh t-shirts or t-shirts and mesh shorts, that kind of thing. And I did find it funny that the day he made it, he's in full gear. What's he, the Smash? No, he's not the Smashers. The Fire? No. He's in his full like live gear. He's got like golf shorts on, a belt, the polo, the hat with the logo. He's got it all going. It's like, interesting. Did we maybe have to re-record a little bit to juxtapose it in there? Hey, maybe it was just dumb pure luck that he was wearing all that on that day. That was after my first thought of, holy shit, he made it. This is cool. I've really enjoyed this. My next thought was, oh God, did he stage it? Did he stage it so he could be wearing all his gear when it was going on? That was just the next thing I thought. Speaking of social media, big shout out to Chef Reactions. Absolute incredible account. Watches people make recipes, usually bad ones, and then comments on it the whole way through. We'll have some good ones on there, but yeah, Chef Reactions on Instagram. Absolutely phenomenal content. The day after Thanksgiving, I was at PT. It was 7:52. I checked the clock. 7:52. I heard Mariah Carey for the first time. We wasted absolutely no time in getting to All I Want for Christmas Is You. 7:52. I'm sure it wasn't even the first time it was played. They play that song about every hour on the hour here in the Christmas season. I also watched Rocky IV. Rocky IV has become a staple of my post-Thanksgiving Day, or not post-Thanksgiving, but my Thanksgiving Day routine. This year it moved up to the day before because the Packers were playing. I didn't know if I'd have enough time. Bed Bath & Beyond, Home Depot. Didn't know if I'd have enough time to sneak it in post getting home from Thanksgiving dinner to when the Packers game started. So roommate and I decided to watch it on Wednesday. That movie's fucking awesome. I love that movie. I made a couple notes. I mean, the first 30 minutes of that movie is ridiculous. I said Rocky IV before the Ivan Drago punching display is ridiculous. Really, before the Apollo press conference, I said maybe Apollo should have focused more on his fight and less on his pre-fight dance routine. I also said, what the fuck is the setup for the arena for Apollo versus Drago? And then it really kicks off from there. You get the I'm a fighter speech in the stairwell, the No Way Out montage, the arriving in Russia montage, the training montage, which is the best 5 minutes of cinema, period. I mean, it's perfection. It cannot be beat. Heart's on fire. He runs up that damn mountain. Drago! Just great. The fight. He's good. It's a God of War. He's not a machine. He's a man. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I love Rocky IV. It is the last hour of the movie is almost perfect. Cannot be topped. I'm going to write more about Rocky IV and my Thanksgiving tradition of viewing it now in my Substack this week. Try and get that out at some point this week. But just absolutely fantastic. And I'll just end on this one. Roommate did some laundry yesterday, and one of the pieces of laundry she did was the bedding, sheets, blankets, everything. She goes to bed a little before me. I come to bed. She goes, I think the blanket on my side of the bed was a little wet. She goes, I think it's like soaked into my pants a touch, and now my pants are a little wet. I was like, fuck. She's like, but I think your side's dry. I'm like, there's no fucking chance. I'm sleeping in a bed with a wet blanket. Like, literally a wet blanket. I was like, honey, no. She's like, oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. It'll dry up. It's not going to be a problem. I was like, you have to be out of your mind. I made her get up. The dog was sleeping soundly on the bed. I was like, everybody up. I'm taking these down. I am drying these blankets. I'm not dealing, even if it's a little damp. I've had that happen before where I pulled out the blankets and then, one little corner gets wrapped up and you don't realize it's a little damp. I can't deal with that. I mean, nobody should deal with that, but I cannot do it. I was like, nope, get up. We're taking this. I'm taking these back downstairs. I'm walking down, busted knee and all, and I'm getting these back in the dryer. I ran them in the dryer for like half hour, watched a little more of the football game, and I finally brought them back up, and everything was good. But like, she wanted me to sleep in that bed where it was wet. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Sorry, honey. Okay, that's everything. Let's go wrap this up. Closing time, everybody. Just want to again say thank you to everybody. I appreciate you all so much. So thank you. Comment, rate, subscribe, share, do all the good stuff. Thank you to producer Kevy, as always, for helping me get started with the video stuff here. Check out the Full Range podcast. My man MJ is running that. He's getting rolling. It's great so far. Check it out. It's on the Ole Walls House YouTube page. Full Range podcast on Spotify. Go check it out. Give it a watch. Give it a listen. It's good stuff. Check out my Substack. Like I said just a bit ago, I'm going to be writing a little bit about Rocky IV and my love for that movie, kind of how it's become a Thanksgiving tradition for me. I'll be back next week. We got more football. We got NFL keeps rolling. We got college football conference championships. And then I think they're going to be announcing I should have the final playoff announcements in for the show. I think those get announced on a Sunday. So a lot of good stuff coming. But until next week, peace.